between the yellow jackets and the ants, they'll eat a rat in a day. A raccoon, about 2 days. A skunk, about 2 days. So they'll eat this thing. So you got to think about these traps and whether you want to use the traps or not. Good guys or bad guys? Well, bad if they're in your house. But good if they're in your yard. And yet bad because these aphids secrete honeydew that these guys like to eat. So they'll pick up aphids and move them around the plant to get to the more succulent leaves. They'll also attack anything that is eating aphids. So these ants will swarm this lady beetle and kill it. So you can band, what's called banding. You can do tree banding with tanglefoot. Put some duct tape around the tree and then paint it with tanglefoot. And the ants, especially on citrus, the ants will try to climb up into the citrus tree to try to move aphids around. So you can use tanglefoot to stop them. It'll stop them for a while. What the ants will do then is they'll lay their bodies across here and they'll form a bridge so that the other ants can cross. That's what they do. They're a social colony. So they'll sacrifice themselves. This is ant bait station. This is instead of using a spray like Raid or something like that, you can get this ant bait station, and the ants go in and they eat some of the bait that's in there. They take that bait back to their nest, and in about 10 days it wipes out the nest. So we just had ants in, we have a cat. The cat is old. It leaves, it likes to throw up on the floor, and the ants come in the middle of the night. So we put one of these in the area where the cat lives. How long did it take us? This is my wife in the background.
Close to 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks.
So 10 to 14 days.
So this is what it looks like. And you put it where you have problems with ants, and about 2 weeks later it'll wipe out the ants. I'm going to tell you where to buy that. So is this a good guy or a bad guy?
So you're saying no ant at all, or I think I missed in the conversation I just missed do I want ants? Not at all.
Well,
No
you want them
ants.
in your garden.
I do, right?
Yeah. Because they're going to eat anything else that's in your garden that's not so good.
Okay.
Any animals, anything that dies in the garden, they're going to eat it. Ants will eat everything. So yeah, you do kind of want ants, but you kind of don't. You want to control them. Yeah, and they're easy to control. So this is a housefly. Yeah, if it's in your house, not so good. So if you ever want to know whether you got a problem with a housefly, look in your sugar bowl. If you see little browns or black specks in there, bad. Housefly's been there. Left you a little gift. These are edible. Good guys or bad guys? Well, I'm not fond of them. You see a lot of these things around rotting vegetation, corn, onions, turnips, cabbage, fruit trees. They will cause a lot of damage. You can get these are medical maggots. So interestingly enough, during World War I, there happened to be a soldier that was trapped between the Germans and the United States. And neither one of them could get to him, and he was wounded. He was out there for about 4 or 5 days. When they were finally able to bring him in, they noticed on his wounds that he had maggots that were eating the wounds, and there was no infection, and that skin was healthy. The maggots only ate the rotten skin.
Wow.
Medical institutions bring in medical maggots. If you go down to Stanford and if you have a wound that can't heal, They're going to put maggots on them. No, they aren't. And it's going to take care of that wound. So any institution brings in medical maggots. Good guy or bad guy? Really bad. Do you know how many people this has killed? Half of the human race. Half of the human race. Half of all the people that have ever lived have been killed by this. Period. I mean, that's it. How do you treat this? Well, this is a mosquito dunk. If you've got a water feature, you can put these dunks in there. This is Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis. So Bacillus again. This is another type of Bacillus. And this particular one is only going to kill the larva of mosquitoes. So about every quarter you go out and throw a mosquito dunk in your fountain, or if you've got a drainage system, or you've got standing water. You just throw this in there. That's it. That's all you have to do. Mosquito comes along, lays its eggs in this water. This kills the larva. Works really well. Good guy or bad guy? This is a syrphid fly. You see these guys out there, right? Turns the corner real quick. Syrphid fly. Good guy. This is a good guy. So these guys will eat aphids, and you will eat about 50 or 60 aphids a day. And interestingly enough, they like to play with the aphid. So they will actually lift them up like this and kind of play with them a little bit, and then take a bite out of them. I don't know why, but you can look at them doing that. This particular insect is a syrphid fly. This happens to be the mouth parts of the syrphid fly. It's really a good insect. So beetles. You'll see beetles in your garden. 40% of all the insects are beetles. It's the biggest order of insects. God loved the beetles. He made a ton of them. He did. He made a lot of them. So this particular lady beetle, and this is its larva, looks like a little dragon. So when you're looking at aphids through that loop, you're going to see little dragons running around. If you see those, don't worry about the aphids. They're going to be gone real quick, because this thing will eat 50 or 60 a day, as will the adult. So these are good guys. Dung beetles. Well, if we didn't have dung beetles, we'd be up to our eyeballs in dung. So these are good guys. These guys are called rollers. He's actually on his front legs are here, and his back legs are here. So he's upside down, and he's rolling this ball of dung, because he's gonna, or she is going to lay her eggs inside of this. The young will hatch out of the dung, and they eat it. So it's a good thing.
How bad is
So this is a grub, and it is the larva of a beetle. You can tell if it's got legs up front. If it's got 6 legs up front, it is a beetle. You see this in your lawns. The raccoons come in and they roll your lawn up because they're trying to get to this. You don't have to spray for this. You can put this stuff down, and this is called milky spore, and it will wipe out your grubs. What it does is there's nematodes in here, and it attacks the grubs and wipes them out. In your cropping systems, we have grubs, and those grubs will attack our food. So you can just use milky spore. This is organic. It's cheap. You can actually buy it on Amazon. So we'll talk about where else to buy it. What is this? Oh, and this is another one. This is another milky spore. It's all natural lawn and grub control if you've got grub problems. This is a potato beetle. This is a bad guy. There is also a Bacillus thuringiensis tenebrionis that will kill this particular character. and I'm going to show you the website where you can find out about this. This is a Mexican bean beetle, not a good bug either. This one is not a good bug. This is a cucumber beetle. They eat a lot of cucumbers. They will also eat cabbage and other insects. The bad thing about this particular insect is that it also vectors bacteria. When it takes a bite out of something, it leaves bacteria behind, which causes the plant to decline. Asparagus beetle, not a good guy. These can all be controlled with Bacillus thuringiensis, tenebrionis, or pyrethrin. So there's a difference between pyrethrin and pyrethroid. Pyrethroid is not organic. Pyrethrin is. Pyrethrin is chrysanthemum flowers that have been synthesized. Or not synthesized, but they've been processed. And they have insecticidal qualities. So all of these can be sprayed with that. This is a Hoplia beetle. You see it on roses primarily. Anything with a white, yellow, or pink flower, you'll see this. They stick around for about 6 weeks and they disappear. You can capture these if you want, but they're not too bad of a bad guy. All right, this is neem. This is one of the better neem products that are out there. It's a product called Azotrol, and it is has a high active ingredient of azadirachtin. So the neem comes from a tree in India. Azadirachta indica is the name of the tree. It does grow here in the United States. I've seen a few of them, not many. We need to get more of them. But it's from that particular tree. In India, they use this stuff in everything. Cosmetics, shampoo, everything. They're using neem. That's why we don't have a lot of, that's why you guys don't have a lot of bugs. Oh, brush your teeth. So if you've got a plant, house plant, you can brush your teeth and sit on the house plant.
Yes.
I see.
We eat the flowers. We use it.
Yeah, they make rasam.
Do you really?
Make rasam with the flower.
You make soup out of the flowers?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'd like to try that. Is it bitter?
Yeah, I love it.
And it compensates the turmeric, so we could.
Yeah.
Question. So now I see a lot of neem trees in Florida.
Yes.
Will it grow in California?
Yes, they will.
Can you
It
bring it?
really, it grows, but it doesn't survive. I've kept it 3
Oh,
years.
really?
Yeah.
It grows and then dies the
Oh, after
winter.
3 years it died?
No, winter it dies.
Yeah, it's deciduous.
No, I heard that. Like if it survives 2 winters, then it's easy. Like for 2 winters, you have to.
Even one winter it
No,
survives.
It needs a lot of heat.
Greenhouse?
So you can't grow it up in, for example, you couldn't grow it in San Francisco.
Oh, not in.
But you could grow it in Cupertino, Los Gatos, some of those areas.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
could grow it.
Fremont.
Where there's a lot of heat. Fremont, Union City. Yeah, you could. So true bugs. You'll see these in your garden. And this is one of them. This is called an assassin bug. They call it an assassin bug because it seems to just kind of hide. And then another insect comes along and it's got a thing. It's called a funicula. And it goes thump. And it sticks this thing into the other bugs and sucks it dry. So this is a really good bug to have. Really one of the better ones. This is scale. And this is the crawlers of scale. So scale in the springtime, they come out as crawlers, and then they sit down, anchor themselves to a plant, and they put a waxy coating over themselves, and that's what they look like for the rest of their lives. But when they first hatch out, this is what they look like. And there's a bunch of aphids in here. And I'm going to show you this picture again. This is an ant. It's getting the honeydew from the aphid. And these are whiteflies, same thing. They produce honeydew. These are mealybugs, not good. And this is the result of the honeydew that the whitefly, the aphid, and the mealybug produce. This is called sooty mold. You see this on a lot of your plants, and all it is the carbohydrate rotting. and it interferes with photosynthesis. So this leaf cannot photosynthesize. It can't take photon energy and convert it into chemical energy.